Hello everyone, welcome to Module 10, Data Driven. In this module today we're going to be covering the emotions that we experience on a day-to-day basis, so that way we can really rid those and be able to be fully logical in our data-driven decision-making process with our Facebook ads. We're going to be covering the data-driven mindset that you need to equip in order to make the logical decisions that allow you to improve your performance in your campaigns. We're going to be covering the data-driven feedback loop so you understand what steps to be taken and what inputs and outputs are necessary to be successful. And number 4, we're going to be covering a basic dashboard that is data-driven so that way you can have the insights you need for the key metrics that are most important, not just vanity. So here's our roadmap. We've covered these different phases all together. We just finished up the ad build-out phase, and now we're on the data-driven methodologies. In future modules, we'll be covering optimizations, and we'll also be covering ways to scale results. So let's cover emotions. Emotions are data. When you start to look at emotions as data, it changes not just how you think and feel about emotions in the first place, but also what you do with them. So here on the right, we have feelings. You could have good feelings. You could have bad feelings. You could experience fun, and you can also think things are difficult. What you might think is not difficult could be very difficult to someone else. If you're very good in sports, if you recall an experience where you had a lot of fun, those things are subjective. People in sports might not, some people aren't very good at sports, and some are. Some have fun, some don't. Those are subjective things that is all based on personal experience, what you enjoy versus what someone else enjoys, what you find difficult, what someone else finds difficult, and what you consider a good thing and what you consider a bad thing is totally different to someone else who considers something good versus bad. And that's not necessarily, something that needs to be fixed. It's just something that is considered subjective, and those are just natural feelings that people have. What we're looking to do today is really understand the data side of it. So that way you can make the absolute decisions that are both right and know exactly what is wrong and have a clear picture of what is black versus white. Data is absolute. It has no personal experience. There are no feelings attached to data. It's purely logic, and you make decisions based off which is right and which is wrong. There is a very clear distinction. There is no subjectiveness to it. It's either clear or it's not. So what we're going to be doing is enabling you to have a data-driven mindset. Once we cover these different items, this is ultimately going to allow you to identify and channel more productive responses from being data-driven. And let's start with what a mindset is. A mindset is a result of what you repeatedly do. If you repeat the same thing over and over again, that is just a mindset. A data-driven mindset means that you bring data to decision-making repeatedly. And that's a key thing here. So what does it mean to be data-driven? Being data-driven is to progress in an activity compelled by data rather than by intuition or by personal experience. So what we have here is we have the data on the far left, and we're looking at this data and we're gaining insight from it, and we're drawing the data and building it out to understand exactly what it means and what decisions need to be made from there. And then we go to action. And once we take that action, we then see what the outcome is, and then we establish whether or not our outcomes were true or not. And if so, then we use that data and continue to repeat this process, and we have an ever-improving feedback loop and cycle here that's super important to establish. Most people really just skip over the data and just take action based off feeling. And the last thing you want to do is, feel like something's going right and you decide to scale, and when the time's not to scale, or you might feel like something is wrong when everything is going right, and you might actually start to destroy all of the amazing progress you made. So many people make phenomenal progress, but then they self-sabotage so many different things in their life and in their ads manager, ultimately preventing them from succeeding. And today we want to get rid of those things and really focus in on what it is that is converting and understand the logic behind it, and really understand that data is there to allow you to make informed decisions and know exactly what is right and what is wrong. You don't want to be looking at data and then just, having some feeling about it and feeling like you're doing, the right thing when you're not. And so a data-driven mindset allows you to make a decision-thinking process that could allow you to reduce your overall ad spend, getting more results. It could decrease the amount of times that you're having to rework your campaigns. If you find yourself constantly relaunching campaigns, constantly recreating ads, or constantly relaunching audiences, well, that's just a process of not understanding truly what it is that's making something convert. Another benefit of being data-driven is you can become more efficient. You learn how to do more with less. You have fewer campaigns, you have fewer audiences, and fewer ads because you really understand the efficiency of things and start to understand what's working and what's not and really scale it up from there, which is our final bullet point. Once you truly understand this process, you're going to be able to scale dramatically because you understand what every dollar goes in and what every dollar comes out, allowing you to make decisions based purely off of what it is that is working. And when a data-driven mindset exists, its recognition is obvious. And to arrive at this mindset, you really have to ask a lot of why questions. Why did this work? Why is it that this creative is improving? Why is it that this copy makes sense to use? Why is it that this headline always gets sales? Why is it that this video always has the highest ROAS? Why is it that images last longer than videos? Why is it that we do better during the testing phase when we split out interests than when we stack them? Why is it that our ROAS always falls whenever we scale? Why is it that at scale I can't maintain the same results I can during the testing phase? Why is it that the day that I launch I have great results and the second day I don't? These are the why questions that you must always ask to truly understand and get down to the core fundamentals so that way you can boil out the information that is most important to understand and make a decision off of. And every deep dive is an opportunity to develop a dashboard, and every dashboard is an opportunity to create a metric, and every metric is an opportunity to take a more informed decision. And here's a data-driven dashboard example. These focus on key metrics, not just vanity metrics. So what you have is a preview. Usually when you open up your ads manager, you might have some of the initial columns you might notice. So some of the important metrics might be that you're optimizing towards purchases. So you certainly want to know what website purchases are. You might want to know what the cost per purchase is, and you can see exactly how many people you've reached and how frequently you've reached them. The other part to this dashboard is the data-driven side, which is knowing exactly how much you've spent, how many people have clicked through. So let's say that 99 have clicked through. And then we have the content views, which is how many pages somebody viewed a specific product. So out of those 99, it looks like, for every one person, maybe, an extra person might have viewed an additional page. And then we have our add to cart, which out of those 99, it looks like almost 40 to 50% of them added to cart, which is phenomenal. And then we look at the website purchases, and out of those 47, we see about 13 made a purchase, which is also a great conversion rate, right? Because we have about a fourth of those individuals actually converting. And then our website purchase conversion value, we can see how much they spent on the site. And then we see our website purchase return on ad spend, which is a 1.75. Now, when we look at these metrics, we want to see exactly how people are making it through the funnel, where our drop-off points are, where are some points that we can improve upon. For instance, at the very bottom here, we might see that for 13 link clicks, we only got 4 add to carts, which is still about a 20 to 30% conversion rate. But then our website purchases are about 50%, but our ROAS is only a 1.1. Well, we might not have enough data here, so we might need to compile some more information to make a more informed decision. But you want to focus on your key metrics. You need to establish what your profitability range is. You need to understand that whatever ROAS you have, if you're profitable above a 1.4, then anything above a 1.4 then becomes right. And anything below a 1.4 ROAS then becomes wrong. And then you need to understand the interconnections and relationships between one another so that way you can better identify what it is that's converting and what's not. The more you look at this data and you start to understand how these pieces play a role together and which parts affect the others, you'll start to understand better how you can optimize, scale, and make informed decisions around your data. And so when we really look at these modules, what we want to do is understand exactly how we can make an informed decision. And so what I want you to do is go ahead and establish what your average cost per purchases that you need to remain above, and then what the average ROAS is that you need to remain above, and then build out your specific dashboard here so that way you can see the funnel and journey a user is taking on your actual site, so that way you can see where your drop-off points are. You might find that you have hundreds of add to carts and only a few website purchases, and this could tell you some very informed information, like maybe your funnel is not converting properly, or the checkout process is broken, or your shipping costs might be too high, so therefore people are dropping off whenever they find that out. And then you can implement an offer around that, and that then becomes your feedback loop. You're gaining that insight from that data because you saw those drop-off points, and then once you find out what that is, you say, okay, let's create an offer where we're offering free shipping because everybody's dropping off when they see it's paid. So then we implement the free shipping and we take action on it, and then we see our results get better. And then because we saw our results get better, we then have a reinforced learning period where we say, okay, we know that what we just did worked and it improved our results. What else can we do to improve upon this metric? And we use that data to gain further insight and take additional action. Now, maybe with free shipping, we're throwing in an extra item, or we're speeding up our shipping times, and therefore we're getting even more results. And we continue to follow this feedback loop until we've maximized the efficiency and scale of that avenue. And then we move on to the next drop-off point. And we continue to do this feedback loop until we've fully gotten to max efficiencies at scale. And once you've done that, you'll really start to gain the data-driven mindset and understand the perspective of how data plays such an important role in your business. And so what we covered today are the emotions that we experience when managing ads, how to have a data-driven mindset, how to use a data-driven feedback loop to make informed decisions based off of your data, and then how to use a data-driven dashboard to understand where your drop-off points are.